we would talk of, suppose this is a certain vector A. Suppose this is a certain vector A with a prescribed direction, And we have a situation, we have a physical situation in which we encounter umpteen number of quantities, whose direction is the same as A, but whose magnitudes could be different from A, right? And therefore, what we want to be able to do is, we want to be able to define in the direction of A reference vector. One standard vector in the direction of A could be defined, and all other vectors in that direction could be represented in terms of the benchmark or the reference vector. And the choice is yours. However, practicality suggests that if you want a reference vector in a certain direction, in this direction, then it's most convenient to select a reference vector of 1 unit magnitude in that direction. What I do is, in this direction, there could be many vectors. Right? There could be a vector A, there could be a vector 2A, there could be a vector 5A, there could be a vector 6A, there could be a vector 1.7A, there could be a vector Avogadro's number in 2A, right? Isn't it? What we want to be able to do is, our reference vector, we say, is a vector which is 1 unit magnitude in this direction. A vector of 1 unit magnitude in that direction. Now, if there is a vector A, then you divide that vector by its magnitude. The magnitude of A is mod A. If you divide a vector A by mod A is the magnitude of A. Then, what you essentially get, when you divide a vector by a scalar, then the direction does not get altered, right? The magnitude increases or decreases, but the direction will not get altered. So, A by mod A for sure is a vector parallel to A, because mod A is a scalar, mod A is a number, the magnitude of a vector is a number. A by mod A then is looked upon as a vector of 1 unit magnitude. A by mod A is a vector of magnitude 1 unit, having direction same as A. This is a vector of magnitude 1 unit, direction same as A. This is a vector divided by its magnitude, be a vector of magnitude 1 unit, having a direction same as the vector A. And this vector could be written as n with a cap chota topi on top A. It could be written like this, for example. The moment I put this cap, I'm talking of a vector which is called a unit vector. A vector of 1 unit magnitude in a given direction. A vector of 1 unit magnitude in a given direction is said to be a unit vector in that direction. So, this is a unit vector in the direction of A. N cap A is a unit vector in the direction of A, and it's obtained by dividing A by its magnitude. Right? So, this is said to be a unit vector along A. This is a unit vector along A. Now, all that I am saying is, a vector A, for example, it's k times its direction, k times a unit vector in this direction, isn't it? If I have a unit vector parallel to A, look man, this is what I want to tell you. Suppose you have a vector of 1 unit magnitude in this direction, and you call this vector n cap A. Then you realize that if I now want to have a vector whose magnitude is k units, if there is a vector whose magnitude is k units, you can call this vector A, for example. You can call this vector A. This is a vector of magnitude k units. Can I not say that A must be k times n cap? N cap is a vector of 1 unit magnitude. Vector A is k times n cap, means the magnitude of A is k times the magnitude of n cap, but the magnitude of n cap is 1 unit, yes or no? So k times a unit vector would be a vector whose magnitude is k units and whose direction is the same. Multiplying a vector by a scalar does not alter its direction. So n cap A, where k is what? K is the magnitude of A, right? So n cap is A divided by k, where k is what? The magnitude of A, so written as mod A. So A by mod A. You realize what I did here? Look at it the other way around. I mean, imagine a vector of 1 unit magnitude in a given direction and imagine a vector of k units magnitude in the same direction. So this vector A must be k times this vector, because k is the magnitude of this vector, right? So the vector A is k times the magnitude of A, magnitude of n cap A, and then a unit vector in a direction given by the vector divided by its magnitude. This is what is, right? So a unit vector in a direction then becomes our reference vector, right? Suppose I have a vector which is n cap in a given direction, which is a unit vector in this direction. And now if somebody says find a vector which is 100 units in that direction, find a vector B which is 100 units in this direction, then the vector B which is 100 units in this direction would be 100 times a unit vector in that direction. Find a vector C which is 40 units in this direction, that will be 40 times a unit vector in that direction. Find a vector D which is 10 times, which is 10 units, find a vector B which is 10 units but directed opposite to n cap, that will be minus 10 n cap, minus 10 n cap. It will be a vector 10 units but its direction would be opposite to n cap, direction would be opposite to n cap. Got me?